So I have been a content creator and influencer predominantly on Instagram for the past 6 years and worked with over 100 incredible brands such as like Unilever, Sky, every fashion brand probably that you can think of, Gymshark, loads of cool brands. And then as well as that, during my career, I've been head of marketing for a company. And then I transitioned into the charity sector and I work in sort of marketing and digital storytelling, which is so much fun. When I was 17, I'd literally just turned 17 and I was really active at that point. Like I was always kicking a ball around and I had a job delivering leaflets over the summer. So I was really active. I think I can't tell you how many miles I was walking a day, but it was a lot because I had to hand out all these leaflets. And I then got a virus. And it was just like a sickness bug. And I thought, okay, great, not great, but I'll take a week and I'll be fine. And then I just never recovered from it. And the first sort of few weeks, it was just that real heavy fatigue that you have after any sort of flu or sickness and stuff like that. And then it just didn't go away. And so the whole of the summer, I was just like, couldn't move. I felt like my body was just dunked in cement. Everything felt so heavy. I felt so nauseous. I felt so tired. And yeah, it sort of took 6 months to get diagnosed. And then I was diagnosed with ME, which is the equivalent of like chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, which is chronic widespread pain. So although it had taken 6 months for that diagnosis, obviously it was great to have it, but unfortunately there wasn't really any treatment at that point, sort of 11 years ago. Even though you may not be able to necessarily see their disability, there's a real visual clue there. And I think a lot of disabilities you can't see when you look at a person. So at the time when I was 17, I had to start using a mobility aid, so I started using a walking stick. But for me now, if I stood up and did a twirl, you wouldn't be able to see kind of anything quote unquote wrong with me. But obviously I've got a lot going on health-wise. So I think what's really important about that is just remembering that there's not one type of disability, there's hundreds. And you can't necessarily see all of them. Sometimes you can see sort of the symptoms and side effects, like you might be able to see that someone's tired or see that someone's shaky or struggling on their feet, but often we can't see the disability, and there's a lot going on that we kind of don't know about when we look at people.
So almost one of the big things that we've mentioned about was almost hidden disabilities, that kind of thing. Why is that important to you? I know we kind of touched on it before, but it's that balance of where are there communities out there that don't feel heard? I really want to understand and almost shine a light on it, just because it's something that I want to almost support more, just as a mission-led kind of organization.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, obviously, with my experience, I went from being a very active participant in my own life to almost watching it go past by the sidelines. And I think when we are in a room, an important room, we're in a boardroom, we're in places like this, the people that are the sickest, even like people with ME who have got the most severe types, they are not in that room. So the reason why I continue to campaign, especially as my health has got better over the years, is because I'm doing it for the people who aren't there.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that's really important. I think often we can look around our own lives and think something isn't an issue because we don't see it. And there's a whole group of people that we aren't seeing because they're not able to participate because society is not accessible.
If you were to give advice to your younger self, what would it be?
So for me, I would tell myself not to be such a perfectionist. Like I had it really drilled into me from a young age that anything less than 100% was failure. And it was a really unhealthy, toxic way of growing up. And for me, it took me a long time to let go of that. And even now, I'm still learning how to let go of that. So I would really give myself some encouragement and know that actually your best is good enough and just trying is good enough. It doesn't matter of the outcome.